Music was so sudden. Welcome back. We are here still casting live from Denver, the Mile High City. I am Soccerton. This, you guys know, you've been hearing from him for the last series. This is Dabston, and we got a fun one on our hands, don't we?
Yeah, and no surprise here with the Civ matchup. We've seen it a few times today. It's definitely, both of their first picks, so they're wanting to start out this winner's bracket series on a good note. Obviously, we know Puppy Paul's watching and waiting, though, so I always laugh. It's like, do you want to show too many strategies, or do you just kind of play your own game?
Yeah, I think there's no surprise here that these guys are going for the best first. I mean, we've seen some other series where there have been some heavy favorites. At this point now in round two, all bets are off. Either one of these players can. We've seen both of them have taken the series off each other. They both have played really well. Louis in particular has just been an incredible performance throughout the year. And then, of course, MarineLorD has always been like top two and people's top two level, at least for, since 2022.
It feels like forever.
I mean, probably as long as the game's been around. So starting off with their best civs, their number one choices of all places, Dry Arabia.
Yeah, I mean, gotta love the map. You can't complain about it. It's the classic. I would say it's the majority of people's favorite map in general. And, Louis, you mentioned him having that win on MarineLorD in the last, previous S-tier tournament a couple times ago. But lately, I feel like he might not quite be at the top of his form. But it's
jet lag's real.
Yeah, jet lag. Well, it's not even today. It's the previous tournament. But this is one where maybe he's waking up. Maybe he wants to perform in the U.S. and show people what he's got over here.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some surprising results already this series. I think last series with the Canadian Bros, I don't think people really expected the outcome that came. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised, though, of course, because both players are really up there. One thing I've been telling people here at the event live as I've been chatting is I've been really amazed at the skill parity at the very top.
Yep.
Is so tight. And then there is kind of like that group that's a bit of a gap after you get those top 3 or 4 players. And it's not that they can't ever take a game or even possibly a series, but you can't deny that the skill of these players, and these two guys in particular, could make a good case for each of themselves as being number 1 and number 2 in the world.
Yeah, and we've seen not necessarily the most elongated series today, but I do feel like this matchup, MarineLorD versus loueMT, does sometimes turn into some long games and some wild ones at that. So we'll see if they do end up extending the series or if, they just come out with a bang. Puppy Paul just mentioned, it is a very aggressive meta right now.
Yeah.
So games have kind of been ending somewhat quick.
I mean, we say that too, but I'm looking at like Malians and Byzantines. Both of those can be aggressive, but they tend to sit back a little more, right? Japanese can be a bit more aggressive. But look down the line, we've got like French as aggressive, but I'm looking at English in there as well for Louis. That's not an overly aggressive civ. I could see if you get the right matchup between, I'm looking at like, like Zushi maybe pops in, or maybe Malians against an English. That's going to make for a long game if that happens.
We did see the previous series Louis played. He pulled out the English on Frisian Marshes. Might be the same idea again, but you never want to let your opponent know what you got planned.
Yeah.
You're always wanting to mind game them. The Civ matchup's one thing. The map matchup's one thing. There's so many things that go into these tournament plays, so it's really one where it does feel like money's on the line here because if you lose this one, you're going to be playing a lot tomorrow instead of sitting back and watching, waiting for Sunday.
Yeah, this is one of the premier matchups. I think the last series was a premier matchup, and I think this one, ending on this one today, our last series of day 1 of King of the Rockies, we saved the best for last, I think. And this one's going to definitely be one. And my prediction is I don't know who's going to win. I think I did some brackets, and most of it's already been blown to shreds, but I think I might have had Louis doing the upset, but it's going to go 3-2, I think, either way. I
mean, you heard Puppy Paul. He said he wanted MarineLorD. He wants to take down MarineLorD. So,
equally as I think, honestly, both these players, I mean, if Louis is interesting because I think MarineLorD's really consistent, right?
Oh,
like that's the thing. We can kind of, his floor is always like way up there. His ceiling's like right there. He's just so far up above everything else. Louis is interesting because on a bad day, he maybe isn't in that top 2, top 3 conversation, but on a good day, he's the number 1. So
exactly,
you're kind of left with wondering what kind of Louis are we going to get today. And he hasn't performed bad so far today. Maybe that jet lag kind of getting to him. Maybe he's not been in the tip-top shape like he was earlier this year. But at the same time, you don't know until you dive in.
Yeah, and talking to him earlier here in the interview, and actually the other interview that I did, he really, is embracing the land. It's not like he feels the nerves. When he loses a game, he just moves on to the next. He's not, all tilted from it or anything of the sort. And looking at the map draft, I mean, both sides have their advantages. Obviously, Louis was able to take French away from MarineLorD, which might not be the top 3 civs, but I feel like for MarineLorD, it is a top civ. He always performs so well on it. Even in bad matchups, it still turns out well.
That's something I've noticed about these players, is that even like it doesn't matter the matchup, it matters the player behind it sometimes. And at this level, it's just very, very true.
Yeah, but I know first game's getting set on up. So back to the Japan versus Byzantine. It's been a lot of this Dark Age spears from Japan and really trying to delay those Byzantine units from coming out, those mercs from coming out, getting that side view of dry Arabia, not as hilly as the other maps. And you gotta love the intro here that Cal has gotten set up for us.
I think it works best on dry Arabia. But although, even though this one is a very flat map, I will say, cool thing about this map is usually they'll find a crater on this map as well. There are some slight elevation differences. You can kind of see the crater here, right on that sacred site. There's a little bit of difference in the elevation.
And
kind of a fun
actually,
thing.
unlike the previous games, there is no Dark Age. I don't know about the overlay at the top there, but there is no Dark Age barracks that we saw. You know, the previous side view of this matchup, we saw a spear already coming across the map, kind of being that scouting unit. But instead, it's just a straight up regular feudal age opening by both of these players.
Yeah, no surprise. He's got the cistern already up, already onto the berries. He is on the berries kind of early, though. So that tells me maybe not looking at a cistern. Are we going to see then perhaps a hippodrome? Normally you save the winery for those, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we've seen in this matchup so far. It's mainly because of that spear pressure. So I think this is one, too, where, you know, Louis kind of expected MarineLorD to react to the spear pressure already, and he's like, all right, you're not even going to have to worry about this. I'm just going straight up to feudal age. Gives himself a little bit of a level footing. Doesn't have that barracks that he had to spend resources on early. Doesn't have the few spears that he had to spend resources on early. And MarineLorD isn't doing the typical Byzantine build when you don't have pressure early. Usually you'll see 3 cisterns down rather early and just really getting that eco boost early on.
We talk about getting into their heads, right, and them getting into each other's heads. Louis has done that here. This is really fascinating because MarineLorD is respecting pressure that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's just purely the potential that it could have been there. It has altered his build, and he's obviously going for more of a hippodrome play now. I mean, that alone is just really interesting. The gamemanship that is going on between these players is just fascinating.
Yeah, and I mean, you have to react to it. You have to respect the pressure coming in on the other side. It's the same thing like when you're playing Mali and expecting a spear rush, where you're like, okay, sometimes you'll see a tower on the gold, sometimes you'll see, you know, a few less houses. This is where MarineLorD went. Not only did he go on the berries first, you saw which berries he was gathering from first. It wasn't the close ones. It was the far ones because he was scared of getting denied from that food earlier on from those spears.
Pretty good sheep haul here from MarineLorD. You know, I'm all fan of some extra sheep there. I'm curious to see how many Louis has, because on this map, not as many sheep as you might think, and getting it early can be quite an advantage. We do see a slight advantage indeed for MarineLorD, getting a bit of the lion's share. Not a terrible split. It's a little bit more even than you'd think, but every little bit's going to help. And, you know, Byzantines is always interesting because they don't need as much sheep as the next guy, you know, but every little bit helps, and everything you can deny your opponent is always a win, of course. Yeah. You see the hippodrome going up right there.
Also gets to be a lot more aggressive with his scouting pattern when you start on the berries. You don't have to circle back for a drop-off. And, you know, Louis the same thing over there. Both players starting on the berries here. The difference here, Louis, very conservative age up here. Just one villager on the Cura storehouse. He is going heavily onto, you know, already building an outpost on gold. It might just be an attempted super fast castle here from Louis.
You answered my question. I was going to ask you was, what do we think Louis is doing with the one villager there? What's his plan? And I guess fast castle would be it.
Yeah, and I mean, this is one where the matchup today, we have seen it be a lot of this kind of feudal aggression for a bit. It's like this feigning aggression until one person feels comfortable enough to go up to castle. And Louis is just saying, you know, no, I'm going to force you to all in. And let's see if MarineLorD reacts to that correctly and does this all-in timing attack like we expect.
Barracks underway for MarineLorD right there. I imagine we'll get some loueMT coming out very shortly. With the horsemen, I mean, that could be a pretty dangerous duo. The amount of mobility with the horsemen that the hippodrome provides and the rating of capability that you get from that. The onus is now on MarineLorD to do something with this. And so Louis has decided to opt for the passive build here. And so the question is, can he hold long enough to get a leverage position over MarineLorD?
And it's not only that, it's what part of the eco can you actually pressure with this early horseman, with this early spear. If he gathers up all the berries already, waits to transition to the sheep like we see he's doing, those horsemen are just going to have to sit and watch. Might be able to, you know, try to idle the wood villagers just a little bit. Might force some of those gold villagers to jump in and outside of that tower. But Louis is well and already on his way to feeling good about those castle age resources in the bank.
I'm looking at that deer pack in the very north corner there for Louis. He's got some back resources. If he walls in that corner, he can have quite a bit back there. There's a gold vein, got some berries, the deer pack, and not to mention he's going to get that free farm transition as well.
Yeah, one of the big things about going up to Castle Age, it's not just about getting the resources to Castle, it's also about getting enough gold to produce those first couple mounted samurais to force your opponent on back. Louis just trying to gather up the rest of those berries as those villagers get hit 1-2 times. He just sends those on home to swap to the sheep.
There's no way for him to heal that until he gets to Castle Age. I think it's interesting that he's not, trying to get one. He's just saying, hey, I know this is not going to get any kills. We're here just to poke each one individually. That way it doesn't really matter which one he targets later in the game. They're all going to be a little weak, easier to kill, easier to raid later down the line.
Yep, and now we can already see it. The Cura storehouse is just barely finishing, and almost an exact reaction to what I was, casting last game. The feudal age finishes, and we're going to see an immediate Castle Age drop right after that from loueMT.
And talk about fast castle, dropping it at 637. Here comes the floating gate, and going up with not just 8, not 7, not 9, not 10, 12 villagers. Again, that's going to go up in about 40 some odd seconds. That's going to be really quick, man. Can MarineLorD get enough damage done? But of course, like you mentioned, the follow-up after Castle Age is big too, because you can age up, but then you have to do something with it to make it give you the value back.
And look at what Louis is already doing. He's reinforcing that outpost. So to burn down that outpost, it will take a lot of burning, a lot of torches, and not only is it going to be that initial fortification, he's going to go ahead and get some arrow slits inside, makes it much harder too for those longbows to step in and out and get into that range. They kind of have to circle behind, and then they leave themselves vulnerable. But MarineLorD, he's already pumping up that limited A number, so if Louis does opt for mounted samurai, it can't just be dive straight head first into the army, because then he'll lose those mounted samurai rather quickly. Feudal age no longer there for Louis. He's up to castle. He's going ahead, fast building that stables, and he is ready to pump that mounted samurai number up.
This is a really clean build from Louis. And obviously he's got to hold here. Like, he's got to buy himself time. But what he's doing so far is really going to enable that, I think. Because I'm looking at MarineLorD, and the tricky thing with Byzantines when you go for the Hippodrome is you're losing out on a lot of eco. And right now he's only at 2 cisterns. I know we're only 8 minutes in the game. It's very early. But, man, Louis going to just keep... That snowball's going to start going now. The timer's on now. MarineLorD has to make something happen soon, or things will get easily out of hand.
A little bit of a delay on that first mounted samurai coming out. Nothing too dangerous, though. House gets finished up rather quickly, so allows that production to remount up. And MarineLorD has his army together, is going towards that gold vein. This is the idea. Deny the gold. Deny the gold. And look at the outpost focus. Needs to just focus down those limited A to allow the mounted samurai to actually do some damage. Every torch he pulls away this, even if it's a slight bit of time, is so crucial for Louis right now. He doesn't have the gold to be able to keep producing these mounted samurai. He's already moved on to the back gold, but look at the tankiness of this tower.
Man, those upgrades are really paying dividends here with the 5 inside plus the extra arrow slits. Doing a lot of good work. We obviously see the healing there being done, the Triumph trying to come through for MarineLorD. These mounted samurai, though, are just so tanky that even these longbows don't seem to do that much.
No jumping in and out of that outpost yet. Usually you'll try to see some hammers go out, some attempted repairs, and instead he actually just tries to get away with those villagers, try to find a safe spot. But first villager pick does happen, second villager pick happens, third villager, fourth potential villager going down. However, he is sneaking gold on the other side, so he's able to at least keep producing for the time being. He is forced to make a few horsemen. Those are not upgraded by any means. The next gold has no outpost on it, so he just needs to gather as much as possible. You can already see him starting to run on away. I'll wonder if he's going to drop a quick wall behind, and yep, there it is.
We were pointing that out earlier, too, that's a really wallable position, but he's got to get up really quick. It's going to be close.
He has so many villagers there. It shouldn't be that difficult. He should be able to out-heal the damage from the torches initially until the longbows arrive. Then the longbows can start to try to snipe down the villagers. One more villager falls.
2, make it 2. Man, down 5 villagers in 10 minutes of the game does not feel good. If you're Louis, you're feeling like you lost me a little bit too much. Now, we see what his reaction, though. He wants to go do damage back. If he can make this a bit more even as far as the parity of villagers lost is, he's still in this. But, man, that's a big mass. The tricky thing for MarineLorD is that mass is on the far side of the map. Reinforcing that's not going to be easy. The defender's advantage will go to Louis, but it is still a scary mass. Can he do enough to deal with it is the question.
Yeah, he's trying to find some places to do damage. I think he saw the deer fall down, and instead a couple reinforcing units, but it's not just horsemen reinforcing. It is a huge amount of Limitanes, so that group that he pushed forward with absolutely just got deterred away.
Yeah, MarineLorD is nowhere near Castle Age right now. He is fully committed to the feudal game. He has to be. The moment he lets off the gas and gives Louis time, things will be over. So he's got to inflict enough damage to let him give himself some time to catch up to Louis. As it stands right now, he needs to do a little bit more, but he's nowhere near Castle Age. But Louis is in a precarious situation here. We see that he's put the other Yodoshiro into the house for some food. He knows that that's going to be a problem. He's only got so much deer under the TC. He can't really leave the map and go out onto it, because this mass of MarineLords is just walking back and forth, having its way.
Yeah, it's actually a double range drop forced onto the Yumi because he's able to get food, he's able to get wood, and the gold is the problem. Speaking of gold, he's trying to bring a relic back on in. Attempted Wololo going down. Quick reaction from MarineLorD. That horseman will get on away.
Does it buy him enough time, though, is the question.
The mass just posturing around the base of Louis. He's playing defensive. He actually has another relic being brought back from another side as well. Look at the villagers. They just have to keep circling. There's not many spots to stay safe and protected. Those Yumi, while they're cheap, you need to get that mass up quick, and you need upgrades for them to be a lot more effective here. That wall on the backside, though, look at Louis. He's trying to rush down that outpost. He does have a little bit of stone in the bank. Could try to get reinforcements on. We saw how long it took, but look, he just has to run on away.
Yeah, even if he gets that outpost up, he can't really defend it or hold on to it. You know, it's just going to go down about as fast as he puts it up.
Yeah, trying to pick off some units here and there, at least try to create some sort of competitive advantage for himself, and actually taking some pretty decent trades. There are so many villagers right near here with an outpost, but he needs to win this convincingly to be able to also go take down some villagers.
I don't think he sees them there, does he?
I mean, you see the deer dead, so at least
you
have
assume,
some idea. Yeah. But Longbow's now able to start picking off on the wood line as it gets deeper and deeper in, but can't follow all the way through. That back wall is actually providing so much value here early on.
Losing those longbows is really good for Louis, because those things, there's not a really good answer that he has for him, right? They're outranging his own range units. He doesn't have really any horsemen that he can spare for that at the moment. The good news for Louis, though, is that MarineLorD doesn't get to, Produce those a dime a dozen. He's got to wait quite a bit of time for the olive oil to produce those from the mercenary.
And Louis has found his way to get gold. It's not one relic, it's 2 relics dropped on in. So that's the benefit he at least has going for himself as of now. He's, gotten his uni number pumped up decently, has another mounted samurai in queue, but no return damage able to be done. And what does that mean for MarineLorD? He gets to breathe. He gets to go up to castle, not have a worry in the world.
Yeah, this is where he's now given himself enough time to catch up to castle. And, Louis was right there next to the vills. He was close, but didn't feel confident enough diving into that. And obviously there's the tower with the arrow slits there as well. Golden Horn Tower now being clicked up. And MarineLorD very much in control of this game still. Louis has at least stabilized, though. And so that's good. Now he needs to make something happen. This is really his time to make something happen while MarineLorD now castles up. Unfortunately for Louis, there's quite a big mass still on the map from MarineLorD.
Has resecured gold on the backside, and not only is it gold that he secured, it's double outposts, so he's going to feel very comfortable to move on to the deer behind it. That will give him a little bit of potential, but look at what MarineLorD does. He reacts ahead of time, pulls down 3 villagers away from the berries, leaves 5 there, which is just enough to keep jumping inside that outpost.
Lots of Yumis now hiding in the base, hoping to get a critical mass of those. There's a lot of spears. I mean, the Litane number is very, very up there. Looking at 24 on the map at the moment. So, but Louis now has 24 Yumi Yashigaru, and they are ready to go and fight as well. So whenever he wants to pull that trap card, he'll hopefully be able to deal with those spears. The problem is he's going to have to deal with the horsemen as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's one where you can't pull that trigger until you get some of those upgrades that you need. First one coming in, Steeled Arrow on the way, but Castle Age finishes for MarineLorD. He should go ahead, yeah, and you already see immediately. Horseman upgrade coming in queue, Mercenary upgrade coming in queue. So very, very quick upgrades that finish on up for himself, and will be able to continue to roam, continue to keep up that pressure.
The only thing I could think of that MarineLorD's missing at this point is just more cisterns. That's really, that's the only thing he really needs to add left before he's got the trifecta of what he needs. As you see some mounted samurai trying to take an engagement, but there's just way too many horsemen here. He's going to have to get out of dodge. You do hear a Wolo on the map. Maybe trying to distract from the things. Yep. random scout getting a look at it, but that's about it.
I mean, one thing you'll notice, though, is if you look at the minimap right now, you don't see any relics on the minimap. Louis has all 3 other relics being pulled back home. So that is his game plan now, is if he extends this game longer and longer and longer, the 5 relics would make up for those villager kills, but losing a few more mounted samurai does split one off, though. Maybe we'll be able to get some return damage on a horseman. Or on the deer, not horseman.
Yeah, the relics are a good help, but I look at the cisterns, though. If MarineLorD just adds in those cisterns, then that ends up kind of being a wash anyways, right? So I do feel like that Louis needs to try and get in there and maybe do some damage. The good news is that everything else, I mean, is fairly even. Military numbers 44 to 44, and I'm sure the value of the militaries are probably pretty close, too.
Yeah, I mean, the Yumi are quite cheap, but there are not a ton of those high-value units on the other side. MarineLorD just hit up here recently. Longbow numbers, nothing too scary. Does have some more longbows that should be popping out soon. But at this point, we said it. Louis has 5 relics. He's bringing the 5th one back now, and that's going to be fully online for himself.
Not to mention the Oroshido in the forge as well, so he's getting even more passive gold.
Yeah, and I mean, AoE 4, it is a game of passive income now. You know, it didn't feel like it early on, but a lot of the new civs are that way. Late reaction here from Louis as far as the horseman on the woodline. He has a huge Yumi mass that, you know, while they might not be the greatest against the horseman, they still can at least ping, do some extra damage here.
I say 1 horse for 1 Vil at this point in the game. I think you make that choice. I think you'd make that trade if you're MarineLorD.
And it's actually triple outpost on the gold. He knows how bad he needs that gold. He actually moved up forward to some other gold for a little bit of time. But it looks like Louis, he wants to take this fight. Not sure if he was ready to take it just with the mounted samurai, though. He needed the support of those Yumi first. He is getting return raids, though. That is really the key that might allow him to come back. Even if he doesn't get villager kills, he should hopefully at least start picking up some idle time, picking up some eco advantage that way.
Well, I'm looking at it, though, the eco kills are evened up. It's 7 to 6. So, really, Louis has brought that back, and now the only difference is that he's got the relics. If he can just hold and make this game go longer, he'll be in a great spot. As we see, loueMT trying to get on top of the Yumi Ashigaru. They have to back up, but they counter them. The horsemen trying to get on there, but there's just not a lot of horsemen. The cataphract might be more of a concern. But again, mounted samurai there to be the front line, able to tank this for it, and that's going to force MarineLorD backwards.
And MarineLorD does have to head on home with these units, so feeling very, very good now if you were in the position of loueMT, and we still keep seeing that split screen. Look at what he's doing. He's got 10, 15 villagers there that are having to run on home. He's picking them up as they're running as well. Probably going to see, yeah, Acrotory defense had to be utilized, but if your villagers are fighting, that means they're not gathering. That's still a win right now for Louis.
And behind this, we've been saying it the entire time, getting all of the relics. Not 1, not 2, not even 3. I think he's got all of them.
Yeah, all 5 relics in the bank. And sometimes you'll see Japan not able to drop those monasteries down early to be able to park the relics. Louis focused on that early. All 5 spots have been accounted for, feeling very, very great. He's even massing up some units at home just in case horsemen keep circling. And MarineLorD, if he's going cataphracts, which he is, it's such an expensive unit too. And mounted samurai don't trade the worst into him, especially when we're going to see those numbers continue to climb. He's up to 16, 17 mounted samurai now.
We see some olive groves coming up here for MarineLorD. The berries are running out. He is running out of external resources of food, and they've been getting picked off this entire time anyways. When the food runs out, that's when it's going to get very uncomfortable. And thankfully, he's already thinking ahead, planning some of those olive groves. He's going to need those. Byzantines doesn't mind going into a long game, especially with 5 cisterns. If he maybe, finds a way to, get an eco advantage, maybe he adds another TC later on, outpaces what Louis is doing. The tricky thing is these mounted samurai are just really tough units, as we see here, just walking right up the tower, not a care in the world.
Yeah, and this is really where last series we saw Puppy Paw and Wham have this matchup. Japan was down early and was able to come back at this exact timing where the food became a problem. Louis taking the fight yet again. Mounted Samurai being that front line, but so many loueMT just needs to continue to kite back with the Yumi. Every single time those horsemen, those cataphracts get a little too far forward from their loueMT, they're going to go ahead, turn right back around, go into a charge, and still have kiting go down. More mounted samurai on the backside as well. More and more raids. This has been a great game for Louis. We talked about him maybe not being in form all the time recently, but I'm starting to think he is feeling it today.
He looks in form. I mean, we said from the very beginning of this game, the opening was really clean, really crisp, really quick, and now with these raids, this is exactly how you win a game that's close like this, is you get behind your opponent while you're taking these big fights and do damage, but a major brace right there.
Huge
Samurai.
brace, but look at the number of loueMT there. They're too thin, and MarineLorD, he just gives it up. He knows he's not in the position, doesn't have resources at home to make enough units, and loueMT takes game number 1.
What a turn of events. Man, Louis was looking clean, was looking crisp. There was a real danger there, though. I mean, it was not a walk in the park. I mean, if you're Louis, you're sweating a little bit through that defense. I mean, I know anyone would be. But to his credit, the raids, as he was doing that, he sent some of those samurai down from the very get-go, had the Yumi Yashigato in his base, the raids consistently getting him back into that game while grabbing the relics. And that's all she wrote. I mean, there you go. Game 1 goes to Louis.
It felt so scary. Louis was off of gold for such a long time. The 2 relics was actually what allowed him to start getting that gold trickle. MarineLorD went up to castle, and that allowed Louis to get back onto gold fully. And, I mean, what just a great first game. Able to feel, in form there, get a leg up. And, I mean, whenever you're going into a series, you get game number 1 win, especially against a civ that your opponent thinks is one of the top civs out there right now.
And look at the economy count, down for so long there, but technically doing better, right? Economy-wise, you can see the resources gathered. He was getting the passive gold especially. And one thing that I was thinking, so often with Japanese, we see players put that very first Yoroshido in what? The stable. And what's the problem with doing that? You can't always produce enough samurai to justify the ability that stable has. And then you can always add more stables, right? What you can't do is always get more passive resources. And so what did Louis do? He put that first one into the house for food, and then the next one into the forge for the free gold, this passive gold. And that really enabled him to then produce the needed samurai he needed to go ahead and keep those raids up, get him in the game. And that's how he did it.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the ecograph was ahead for MarineLorD for quite some time, but just not enough damage done to sustain him into the longer point of that game, to sustain him to when he hit castle. And that's always one of the things that I feel like high-elo players are so good at, is right when food on the map starts to run out, starts to run low, your opponent spreads himself thin at different berries, at different deer packs, then that's when you get punished for it. And Louis timed it up perfectly.
That was a really, I mean, both players played really well here too. I mean, let's not discount MarineLorD. I mean, he was putting the fire on Louis there for a while. It looked dubious, but how important was that wall in the back?
Oh, he quick walled it. Even though he didn't fully finish it at first, it forced MarineLorD all the way around, circling back and forth, and not an easy access point to continue the pressure on. But game number 1's over. This series is not over yet, though. We see the second water map of the day, again, Golden Heights, and MarineLorD getting what most people would say is the best hybrid or water-based civ right now in KT. Meanwhile, loueMT choosing the Ayyubids here.
This is an interesting choice. I don't hate it, though, because there's a couple things that Ayyubids can do, and on water maps especially, they have the ability to get to a very quick feudal age.
Yep.
There's a really fun build. I think the first time I saw it, I think it was like Dragavon was playing it like years ago. I remember seeing this now. There's a quick build you can do with Ayyubids. I wonder if we see that here. It feels like that pond is so far away. I don't know if you would see that in particular, but KT, though, for the last, since it's emerged, has been the premier choice for water. Like, it's kind of you pick it, you win it. Like, you should.
Yeah.
But at this matchup, you're now down 1. If you're MarineLorD, you're probably feeling pretty confident about this one. But if you're Louis, what are you doing with the Ayyubids, you think? How do you play this on Golden Heights of all maps?
I mean, you did mention the quick age up timing. The problem if he does that, because I've seen that, usually on Holy Island, you'll see that at
Mongolian Heights, it's really good. Yeah.
But the problem with it is if you don't actually get damage done and early denial actually on the water, then your game's as good as over. So it almost feels like kind of an all-in approach. And I feel like Louis is not really the all-in type of player. He's more of that defensive type of player. So he might just try to play, that same old game where it is an early mind game of going out to the water, but you can't really do that against KT villagers that well, too.
Yeah, it's tricky, too. And I feel like denying the water here is not going to be the hardest thing because it's so far from base, right? It's not like on Holy Island. You got to go all the way to their base, basically, and then push them off water or win water like by using naval units. It's a water map, but I really like to think of this as more just a hybrid map. It's not a full water map, right? Like the land is probably the majority of what you're looking at here. The water is just kind of a feature in some points. Like you could make it, use it, and it may have an advantage out of it, but it's not the end-all, be-all as we dive in here in Denver, game number 2 of our final series today. Louis up 1 to MarineLorD.
Let's see what he can do. Let's see the game plans here. I guess Cal wants to jump on in. I'll let him take my spot here for
Cal
this game.
does like the water maps.
It is about his time here.
Well, we welcome to the casting booth, the one, the only, the magical Cal. Moo to you. Hello. Should I say Baja? Is that like Baja?
There
we go.
Maybe, yeah.
There we go.
All right, exciting game here, Golden Heights, and I was talking with MarineLorD earlier today.
Okay.
And I was laughing at him because I just went, you think you're getting KT on a water map?
Here we go. He's got KT on a water map. So I guess he who laughs best, right?
Yes, something like that. It's really interesting though with the kind of just like the way that Louis has done this, right? It's kind of just vibed. I mean, it's a late dock, all things considered, right? KT really quickly on that. But he did go for the quick age up here, which means that what he's doing is he did not drop a mining camp on his gold. He's just going out with a dock. And now he's just going to make an archer ship, assuming it actually gets up.
Going to go up? That spearman is right on top of him. Will it get up in time? It's like 2 hits away. One more hit. Will it go up? It does. Okay, oh my goodness. That was so incredibly close.
And he gets up. And he gets out the archer ship. And
the archer ship, yeah.
So this is a strategy we're actually quite familiar with on Nagarian team games, where Ayyubid actually does this exact thing, and it's really, really good because it gets you so much tempo. And we can see here, like, yes, he got a villager kill, but ideally what Louis should be able to do now is actually able to idle out all of the fishing ships that MarineLorD has. But when I say all of them, I don't know if all is even the right word. It's kind of just 2.
It's just 2. Well, I think it's interesting that MarineLorD built a barracks expecting this play and still couldn't stop it.
Yeah.
I mean, it came down to like a split second, and that could be the game right there, you know? Because if that fails, if that dock fails, we were mentioning that Dabston was saying, this is an all-in kind of approach. Like, if this fails and flops in your face, it's going to be really hard to claw your way back into this. MarineLorD knew what to do, did the right play, and just missed it by a millisecond. I mean, goodness, that's so close. But now these spears are going to try and find damage and some views somewhere else as they walk right up to the gold.
Yeah, and now comes a really big part of, like, having these spares. It's an issue for any civ on this because of the way the map spawns. Your wood is so far out, and he's going to get that denied, and he did not get up a tower, or he didn't even wall. Like, you could have gone for a little bit of a cheese wall almost, or to shout out some team players, a Magna wall, as we call it, between that wood line and the gold.
Yeah, that would have been a great spot for it right there, yeah.
So having that would have denied this. You still would have had to add an extra bit of wall to kind of like force them into your TC, but at least you would have been in this position where you're not, like, he's not even mining from the straggler trees next to his TC. It's like some random trees out of nowhere. But we do have a lot of commitment here on water with that demo, with that sprinkle, so he is intent on actually having this. He is going to go for an archery range here though, but with what resources are going to make a unit here?
I mean, I was going to say, I was looking at MarineLorD and I was like, he's got some stuff in the bank, but looking at Louis, he does not have much to work with. One could argue that means his macro is really good. He's spending all his resources. I think there's also the fact that he just doesn't have a lot of resources right now. He's taking on the dock.
I mean, look, he's only floating
11 wood. Look at that.
23 resources they're floating.
That is optimal right there. Optimal.
Either optimal or really bad. I don't know. We do have, though, the spare upgrades coming in now. They should be able to just get away here, kind of scot-free. He did go for the Kingdom of France, so nothing really shockingly expected there. One thing that we've seen more and more like kind of fall out of favor, to be fair, is actually pilgrims.
Yeah, it's hard. Well, it's hard to protect them here, and I mean, you're not getting a whole lot of value on these 2 sacred sites on this map, anyways. I think you're picking KT only because it's a water map. But now that you've lost water,
thank you, Louis.
What happens now?
That's the problem, right? He only got 2 fishing ships, so it's not a lot of investment he's kind of lost, right? And now that Louis has done this wing, right? Because he's effectively wasted his age up. When you think of every other age up, right? He gets something. Industry, wood, growth, villagers. You get something from everything. The the age up he went for is literally just a fast age up.
Yeah, he gets the opportunity to win water.
Yes.
Which he has to make something of it still. He's going to lose a villager there, though. Spears, pretty good little dive. The wall was not complete, able to sneak in there, and down goes a Vil. MarineLorD trying to recoup any kind of loss he might have had, and in comes a Horseman, too, the follow-up. It looks like the shivs come out, though, but the Horseman being kind of pesky, and more on the way. This could be a great opening. That wall not getting up might be a really big advantage here for MarineLorD.
Yeah, and look at all these villagers. They're fighting. You have to run away, and like he just wants to close this wall, and you know, just the timing on that was, again, like we're talking so few seconds.
Barely a second.
That's actually like making sure that this actually goes up. And, you know, MarineLorD is getting some attack notifications. It's going to be a while before we're actually able to kill this barracks that's on the shoreline. So kind of just some... Oh, never mind.
Oh,
actually,
as you say that.
Okay, well, great. Now it looked like... Yeah.
Well, you know, as far as this wall goes, you know, like that initial dock didn't go up just in time for MarineLorD, and now for Louis, the wall didn't get up in time. So, you know, the pendulum swings both ways, I guess. Everything's fair in the end.
But again, right, here's another issue. Like, here's the same issue again. Where are you getting wood from on this map, right? You can't go to the other wood line because, you know, he barely has wood to drop a lumber mill even, and he's building it, right? And now you have to add a wall, like you have to add units just to defend it. And this is kind of like the same issue I feel like we've run into Mongols a little bit now recently, where we saw it with the Valdemar game, right, where he went on Christian Marshes. He dropped his TC, but it wasn't next to his wood, right? And we've seen so much that not having safe wood...
Did that pilgrim just walk up the cliff?
It's an opening there.
Oh, there's a path there.
Yeah. And not having access to safe wood is such a big issue.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen that with Malian games, too. Sometimes Malians like having the gold in the back and the wood in the front, but if you got both wood lines in the front and then suddenly they're getting pressed, you need the wood for all the units you make. So I've seen that go both ways as well.
And then your houses gets torched, and now you just...
Yeah, wood is one of those... it feels kind of funny to say wood's an underrated resource, I feel like, when there's only 4 or 5 resources in the game, but like it's kind of an underrated resource. Like,
it's soon to be 6.
The moment you don't have it, you can't do anything. Whereas if you have too much gold, you know, you can... As long as you got wood, you can buy a market, sell it off, and you got something else. When you don't have wood, you're just stuck. And we see here Louis feeling a little bit stuck. That mill, or lumber mill getting taken down. Really tough here for Louis. That was a good pickup by MarineLorD to go in there and torch it all the way down, force the long walk off, and the inefficiency that comes with that.
And
not
it's
ideal.
Insane to me. All this came down to the fact that he wasn't able to close that wall.
A little bit right there next to the gold, yeah. And that could be the game, man. It was going really good for Louis up until that point.
Yeah, now, yes, you do have water, right? But he actually only has 1 fishing ship.
You can't make any more boats.
He only has 1 fishing ship, so yeah, congratulations. No. But what are you going to do with this? Like, you have nothing to actually make anything, right? You can make horsemen, but the opponent has Chevrolet, or now he has to drop a tower on his woodline. Like, this is the same thing that Valdemar had to do when he was playing Mongols, right? You don't have access to safe wood, and that slows you down so much, because there's just idle time after idle time after idle time.
Yeah, it's just death by a million paper cuts in the end. And looks like they're diving back in. This time Spears and a horse ready to meet them, but they're staying persistent. No upgrades in the blacksmith for either of these players right now, so they're taking full damage from every single shot.
Oh, has to run away here, though. The spears are just not in position. They're just busy being like forced back by the archers, and the villagers, they're just running. Yes, there's 10 idled inside of those towers shooting back, but at the same time, his entire army is just gone. And that is the game.
Incredible game. Well played by MarineLorD there. Not ideal when you get booted off of water early, but to turn around and then just sneak in that little wall right there and really take it to him made Louis pay for that in the end. And now we got a tied series 1-1.
1-1 already.
That was a quick water map.
Yeah, that was a quick water map. I mean, people want to get out of them.
I guess that's true. That's true. It's a hybrid. It's a hybrid. It wasn't that much water.
You can make, usually make naval fishing ships. That's kind of where I put it, and it's like, okay, it's hybrid.
Yeah,
like,
that's fair.
Like Rocky River, you don't usually. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, okay, it's kind of.
It's more water than like Mongolian Heights or something. Well, yeah.
Normally, we get a lot of production to do something right now, but I'm production and.
Yeah, you're the production guy. You're the producer guy. It's nice to have you in the booth with me, though. It's been fun. Have you enjoyed America? It's your second time here,
it's
right?
My second time here. Yeah.
I enjoyed having you last year as well.
Yeah.
It's nicer weather this time around.
Yeah, it's more manageable.
Yeah, I
Let's
mean,
put
the
it that
highs
way.
today were like 60. I think it's like 19 degrees Celsius. It was a gorgeous day today. Gorgeous fall
True
day.
that. I haven't been outside today
Yeah,
yet. So
I don't
shouldn't say
think
much.
I. No, you have not. You've been
Anyways.
very busy. Well, we thank Cal and welcome back Dabston to the casting booth. Dabston, we got a tie series, man. 1-1. What did you take away from what you just saw?
I mean, it is one. Well, I'm not gonna lie. I was shoveling Mexican food down my stomach.
It's pretty good stuff. I had some of that too.
Exactly. But Cal loves his water maps. I'm actually surprised he didn't take someone off last series to
That's
cast
true,
the
that's
last Golden
true.
Heights game.
He's nodding to us right now.
Yeah, he's like, don't worry, tomorrow it's gonna happen.
Tomorrow it'll
every
happen
single
again.
time.
Oh yeah.
If there's a Holy Island into Golden Heights, he might just be up here for a little bit
Well,
longer.
last year, actually, last King of the Rockies, he booted me off for one, and I was glad he did because it was like the longest water game of the whole. It was like an hour-and-a-half game. It was forever long. But our next match is going to be, looks like it's going to be English into Ottomans.
And I mean, we saw Louis play English here the series prior that he did. It was against the Mongols, which I know he kind of said that he felt like that was a good matchup for himself. We saw him go 2TC, which I feel it kind of hasn't been in the meta for a while. I actually saw Crackety playing a game the other day here over on the side. He went eco upgrades. It was English Mirror. He went eco upgrades in the castle against 2TC, and villager count was massive for the other side. He said he didn't do much raiding, and the economies were pretty close to even as far as resources gathered.
Yeah. Yeah, this should be a fun one. While we have a moment, though, I want to point at the bar way up there in the corner of the screen. You guys can see it over kind of by where Dabson's at. We are almost at an S-tier level tournament. We're very close. The threshold, the only thing we don't have, we've got the top players. We've got Cal. We've got your beautiful face. We've got me and my epic mustache. We've got Yak's mustache. Everything else is in place for us to be an S-tier tournament except for one thing. We need, as of right now, $4,845 more dollars.
There you go. Math was good there.
To get that to a $20,000 prize pool. If we get that done, then this will be officially in the books as an S-tier tournament, and that would be, I think, a huge success for the community. So if anyone can, obviously if you can't, don't, but if you have the ability to, we would appreciate anyone who is able to go to the Matcherino, donate to the cause, as it were. We also want to thank our sponsors, World's Edge, for putting up the first $15,000 of that. Couldn't be here without that for sure.
Yeah.
But the community helps out a lot too, and if we can match that a little bit, we can make this a real bona fide S-tier tournament.
Yeah, might not mean much for some of the viewers out there, but means a lot to the players and means a lot to the organizers here.
And to the other sponsors that might help get more of these kind of events in the future.
Yeah, so if you are enjoying it, obviously we want a King of the Rockies 3, and who knows where it'll be next year? Maybe Denver again, maybe.
Yeah, probably. I mean, as long as Draxos is in charge. Right?
Exactly.
I wouldn't mind a King of the Cascades over in Seattle. But that's just me.
Okay, a little bit greedy about the travel time
Yeah,
there,
it'd be
I
nice.
see.
I mean, I drove more than I flew to get here, but it was still a long trip. Anyways, we are in game number 3, Ottomans versus English, MarineLorD versus Louis. I almost said
MarineLorD
twice.
versus himself.
Yeah, we had that graphic earlier. It was MarineLorD versus MarineLorD, and that just stuck in my head all day. But already on to the pawns, and this is the thing about this map with Frisian Marshes. You'll see a lot of these docks pop up. The question is, what do you want to do about it if you're playing as the English? Looks like English, Louis, just kind of sitting in his base right now, but MarineLorD, as I've said, already looking at those fish in the ponds.
I mean, what is going to happen is Louis is going to fully give up the water. He's going to go do the old English build, which is wall yourself in, basically. Drop 2 TCs, go ahead and drop some early farms as well and play this long game. The question is will MarineLorD be able to have enough of a payoff from this water to be able to keep that aggression up, to be able to do as much damage there? I think he just, cancels the dock to be able to not stop his fishing boat production at all. He's going to, even that villager too, it's not like he's sitting there idle. He's able to, start gathering that shoreline fish, then drop the dock.
Yes, indeed. We got Abbey of Kings. That's going to let Louis. The tricky thing about this landmark, and the most frustrating thing for a bit, was English is so turtley, right? And it's like, well, at least they don't get to aggress you while they're doing it. With this landmark,
Kind of do.
you kind of get to. You get to have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, it is deterred away, whether it's 3, I think it's 3 Sipahi would be enough to deter the king on away, which Ottoman know and love Sipahi, especially when you have an extra food boost to produce more and more. No early military school opening at all. It is all about getting that economy boosted up, wants to make sure that he has a better economy earlier on to pressure this English, which is not an easy thing to do. Everyone knows English is that defensive civ.
I was going to ask you actually on that. When would you be looking to put down the first military school if you were MarineLorD?
Honestly, he might not even worry about it until, you know, mid-feudal, even later feudal age. I think you really want to kind of keep up your aggression and start that aggression early. The longer you can delay English from making a farm transition, it can get very, very scary for themselves. So you're not going to be able to deny the second TC. You're not going to be able to, you know, deny the wood line or anything like that. So I think he just really wants to kind of build up his mass as fast as possible and go for more of that all-in play.
It's a pretty good spawn for Louis looking at it. He's got the gold and the stone kind of up front, but he's able to build out to that and claim it, right? And then the next gold he has is really off to the side, which is kind of ideal, I think. You know, you want to be able to have your front one, take that up now, and if you need to kind of move over to the right, then you can kind of go that way. And you got the deer pack back there as well. If he can just kind of hunker down and keep that little corner of the map as his, he can last a long time in this game as English.
Yeah, and seeing the water on the other side with the scout is a huge thing for Louis because he knows with this secondary TC, he can be very greedy with it. We saw Cal trying to highlight some potential spots. I love that east side spot next to the gold, next to the deer, next to the wood line. It gives you so much long-term resources for yourself. Obviously, you don't have the support of the main TC, but I mean, if you're able to secure that location even for a decent bit of time, start producing some longbows, get some spears out there, Louis will be feeling very good about this early game.
TC might not secure it, but you know what would? Oh, White Tower.
Oh, okay.
You get one of those in there, yeah, that's going to look real secure.
Well, the king is already obviously in queue on the way here. Sultani Trade Network the choice. Again, MarineLorD, he knows he can be a little bit greedy. He wants these traders to pop out, trade to that far side market. Louis did a great job, though, of deterring Valdemar's trade when it was this exact map. So let's see if he can do that with the king yet again.
Yeah, this is a fun choice. I like this from Ottomans, though. This is the right choice. If you're going to get greedy, like with pawns, you know, in for a penny, in for a pound. You got to go all the way. Yeah. I like that he's put it over there. And even if he can't keep the trade going long term, the nice thing is as long as he keeps it around 10 to start, he can just stash them in later, right?
And he doesn't even worry about going out, securing that location. He's like, as long as I can get my initial wood line, that's all I need as English. And honestly, he did it last game. It worked out fine. So, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it type of thing. But MarineLorD does have a little bit of an extra eco boost going for himself comparative to the Mongols that had to get that trade online, had to continue to invest into that trade. Whereas Ottomans, he's already on the side of Louis going for the water on that side.
I mean, if you've been given the world, you might as well claim it, right? I mean, that's kind of where MarineLorD's at. Like, he knows that there's not going to be a lot of pressure on these. He might as well eat it all up. There's not a ton. I mean, there's a good amount of fish, but it's not like each one of these ponds is going to last for hours, right? So you might as well eat it all up. And is that villager deciding to say, oh, no, don't hurt me, and hiding away, knowing that the king is out and about. Kind of a fun little thing. You know, in an AoE 4 sense, it makes total sense you can wall yourself in the corner. But in IRL, like, that'd be kind of ridiculous. Like, this is a corner of a map. You cannot cross these yellow borders. I'm sorry. I don't... Just how it is.
I mean, he wants to clearly come back out and continue to expand those docks to further and further locations. Louis, he's playing the English game. He's like, I don't care what's happening on the other side. I'm just going to get more farms out, get more, you know, of my economy up and running to try to equalize, you know, the food income on the other side.
So then let me ask you this. Is Louis playing for like a really late castle, or is he playing for like more of an Imperial Age thing?
So what we saw him do previously is like you have to still expect Ottomans here to turn this extra food, turn this extra gold. Usually it's into Sipahi, and as I say that, 2 Sipahi are in queue. So you can't just go straight to castle here. You have to respect this play. So you're going to end up going spear longbow. And it's probably a lot of spears first. And once he has, you know, let's just say 12 to 15 spears, that's when he'll feel comfortable enough to drop double range, start producing those longbows. And he's not going to have to worry about food for a decent little bit as he already has a full set of farms going.
Yeah, and I'm looking at those farms too, and they get the bonus, obviously, being as English. But also, the double TC right there with the English defensive like shots. I don't even think Sipahi want to dive into there if those things are fully garrisoned.
No, they don't. But what he can do is deny the gold because against English, there's some critical upgrades that you kind of like to get early on. I mean, let's just pick on double broad axe. If you're going with longbows, you need a huge, huge wood economy to come on in. Obviously, second TC helps that, but you'd love for all those villagers to be working that much harder.
You see the traders here from the Sultani Trade Network heading along to the trade post. I'm curious how much gold they're going to make. It looks like 63 a drop. That's not bad.
Not bad
That's pretty good in today's trade world.
Yes, it is indeed. But the longer this goes, the more that Louis is going to start kind of equalizing that economy number. It looks like denied a attempted dock play. Not sure where that villager is still hiding out and about.
There he is. Sneaky little dude just kind of walking around.
And this makes it so difficult, too, because Louis, he needs to try to deny the trade. He needs to try to deny these docks. He needs to do all these different things. And in reality, he's not able to do any of it yet.
You got to pick like one and then try and hope you can do that one. One king, obviously, like you said, 3 Sipahi is the magic number, and I think there's already that on the field. So the king kind of running for his life right now. Not able to do as much as he probably would like. And we see there's that learning from the mistake, getting that wall up a little earlier. That could prove very crucial, getting those and denying the horsemen into the back of the base. Obviously, English is going to have a much easier time than Ayyubids would in defending the base, but even still, getting those up early is going to be very beneficial.
Yeah, and I mentioned the extra spears that he would just produce early. No focus on longbows yet. It's just spears, spears, and more spears right now to first get that wall setup going. And then once he has enough kind of level defenses, then it start going into longbows. There's 7 docks out for MarineLorD, though. We can just see he's continuing to invest further and further and further into that economic boost.
Yeah, it's not surprising to see MarineLorD population capped at 60 right now. He's got 12 fishing boats and 4 traders. He has got eco galore. And even still, Louis is keeping pace, though. 43 villages of his own. That 2TC is keeping pace.
Yeah, wasn't quite able to fully finish that wall, it looks like. Just running a little thin. Too many Sipahi, not enough spears yet. But double barracks, he's going to have that spear number feeling very, very comfortable soon. He has 2 full sets of farms in now, and it's actually a 3rd barracks drop. He's not even going to have room for ranges on that back side.
Sipahi seeing the spears, having to back off. Doesn't want to waste those into just spears. The trick is that landmark up front is kind of nice because it does heal his units as well. So, I mean, he could really make that as a fallback point. I was kind of said it's kind of unfortunate it's up in the front that your gold is right there, but also you're building out towards it so you can defend it a little easier. If Louis can just get a tower or 2 up on this, he'll feel pretty good.
And there's the archer range drop, so now he will start producing those longbows. The nice part about this defensive build that he's doing is even if and when MarineLorD, he's about to go to castle in not too long here, he might be able to just continue to outproduce enough to defend yourselves. MarineLorD, everyone loves mobility. Everyone loves knights right now. Ottoman love pumping the knight number up. Well, if you already have a huge spearman base, you can't dive into that English base. So, Louis just, again, playing the English game, playing the, hey, you're going to have to do something to stop me long term.
Getting a good look there of the base of MarineLorD. We saw the 2 imams. That was the vizier point just coming through. We also, it looks like he probably went Anatolian Hills, I'd suspect. Quite a bit of sheep right there. I'm most surprised not going for like the meta for free, actually. Like Anatolian Hills, maybe not as necessary with all the fishing, but then again, who am I to judge, right? Like, it's MarineLorD probably knows better than me in this case. But going for Anatolian Hills and the imams are going to prove very beneficial here.
And there's the MIA. The nice part about that is, if Louis does end up going and just sticking on spear longbow, well, he's actually going to have that sprinkled number pop up, and these things come out very, very quick from the Mehmed Imperial Armory.
It's kind of a fun matchup, these 2 civs, because they both do similar things kind of well, right? Like, they each can have counters for the things. Like, longbows are really difficult to deal with for most civs, right? They're just difficult to deal with. Well, you got Sipahi, like a really good unit. Well, then you have all those spears. Well, you got the sprinkleds coming out that you get from the MIA. There's always a counter play here from both these civs. As we see, being forced away, though, MarineLorD does not have the math to deal with this. Going to try and get the king, but does a little bit of damage. Scout takes the brunt of it. That's a lot of spears. We're looking at, looks like at least 11 spears on the field. No, excuse me.
30.
30. I'm looking at the longbows numbers, yeah.
Yeah.
30 spears and 12 longbows.
And that means he can't turn. He can't try to charge this king at all. It's just going to, he's going to lose the few archers that he did make to try to counteract that spear number. It's actually Mangonel in Q first. Let's see if he decides to swap it at all, if he just sticks on that. And Louis actually feeling comfortable enough to just push on forward here.
This is a pretty bold choice from Louis, just walking with the spears. He obviously likes the look that he's seeing, has a lot of spears. I mean, 30 spears is no pushover. There's only a handful of Sipahi. I'm seeing 10 Sipahi on the field. MarineLorD backing into his base. Louis doesn't want to push too deep.
Louis wanted to try to at least get one villager. He wasn't able to do so, stepped on forward, and he's just not even worrying about those docks at all. He does see the trader, so I think able to snipe down one trader here with the next volley of longbows. So, hey, there's one economy kill in this game here at the 13-minute mark, so we're finally starting to see some action here.
I hope you were warmed up and ready because we are about to the game starts now.
Yep. Exactly. Scouts trying to circle around, trying to see what MarineLorD has planned for Castle, needs to react accordingly because, you know, if he does all of a sudden decide to make a transition into something different, he can react the same way. But Louis, it's not pumping up that longbow number. It's not pumping up that spear number. It's utilizing what he has now. He sent so many villagers over to that gold. He's about to be able to drop the white tower. Actually, it's not about to. He can drop the white tower, and there it is. Maybe even, yeah, I was going to say, maybe even a little more aggressive with it. He can secure up his original gold vein, and he has so many villagers on that old gold that English is always kind of that weird civ where you don't need 4 or 5 different golds. You just need enough to get yourself to almost later castle into Imperial, and this is enough to do exactly that.
Yeah, Louis is starting to retreat back. He kind of knows he needs to defend. Can't have his base exposed as he's getting that tower up. Man, a ton of villagers on that. It goes up, and now Louis' base is starting to look like a fortress.
Yeah, overlay just looks a little bit delayed here as far as what's going on and being updated here at the top. Not too big a deal, though. The white tower is finished. It doesn't have an infinite amount of workers on it or infinite amount of time to be built because 0 workers is what it says.
Oh, goodness.
That does allow him, though, to start producing knights if he wants out of the white tower. Remember, you know, able to be that cool production building.
Such a good building. It's so broken, really. I mean, 20 garrison slots. It's really a good spot. You repair it with wood, and it's a multi-unit production building. I mean, like, what more can you want out of a landmark?
And the big win for Louis now, and why he just basically said, I'm ignoring the fish, is we're seeing Observer over here hover over each of these shoreline fish locations. And yeah, some of these have a lot in it because he didn't produce a ton of ships, but those original 2 docks, they're about to be fully eaten on up. There's not as much shoreline fish left on over, and it's not a resource that continues to boost back up, but 3 relics secured so far for MarineLorD.
Yeah, MarineLorD definitely taking the advantage of having the map control, and those are the kind of things you have to do. Take all the resources that are there, first of all. Second, when you get to Castle Age, get the relics. And third, the big one, I think, for late game, and maybe the key to winning this, but we'll see, is the sacred sites. Yeah, claiming those. If English is going to turtle and sit in the base, make the fortifications and claim the map.
And as you say that, right as you mention the word sacred site, enemy starts capturing it. So MarineLorD taking up that first initial sacred site, should move on to the next one soon as well. And here come the military school.
Yep.
So had to make sure he had a nice level footing first. Double military school drop so far. I'm sure he'll try to get that number up to the max, and we'll see if he even uses the Vizier point for the extra one as well.
I know it's like kind of mundane at this level of play because they're all so good, but I do appreciate when you see like MarineLorD. Look at how nicely well laid out his base is. He knew exactly how to lay out all the buildings around the blacksmith. Oftentimes, I know myself, I always forget. I never plan that far ahead. I just don't, and it's fun to see these guys. These guys know what they're doing. You know?
I mean, he's warmed up. Well, not warmed up. He's used to it already from French because you got to do that with
the keeps.
And so it's, you know, he's continuing to plan this. And there it is, the extra Vizier point utilized for the extra military school. So 4 military schools going down, another blacksmith being dropped. Both sacred sites have been secured. So Louis is on a clock now.
See a lot of men-at-arms coming out here for Louis. Sorry, no, those are spears. Sorry, I don't know why I said men-at-arms.
No, there are men-at-arms as well. He's got 13 men-at-arms, 39.
Our overlay's not updating. That's why I'm like, oh, wait, I don't see it on the overlay. You're right. There, I'm like looking at him. Yeah, that's a big mass.
Yeah, just got to ignore that overlay for now. Just listen to the casters. We might be wrong, but we're going with it.
Now, I really wish, if I was MarineLorD, I'd start looking at building a siege workshop because, I mean, the MIA is pumping them out, but you might need a lot more siege than this.
He did make the swap over to Springles as I was expecting here, and will be able to counteract the full infantry mass of Louis pretty well. Although these players are so good at spreading their army compositions out, making sure that those piercing shots aren't too effective here.
Ceding control of the sacred site right here. MarineLorD having to back up. He wants to be careful. He knows what he's getting into. First volley is away, and in comes the dive. Here is the fight we've been waiting for. 17 minutes in, and they are clashing.
He needs that outpost up before he actually wants to take this fight. The network of castles is such an important thing, and that's exactly where MarineLorD swaps over, tries to take down those villagers doing so. Men-at-Arms being that front line, at least for the time being. Longbows on the backside, but look at the pierce damage. Where is the front line of loueMT going?
The Siege just getting straight through. The Sipahi are onto the longbows. Louis has to get out of this. This is a complete wipe.
Siege isn't really being touched. King finally on top of the back Siege, but the longbow, that number staying healthy is so crucial. It's not there. It's not healthy enough. Men-at-Arms, though, surprisingly able to stay alive for quite some time. Outpost does go up, so there is the network of castles here. And let's see if Louis can actually hold the rest of this fight.
Wow, this was a grind. Both sides looking really battered after that one.
Yeah, I still think
Mango goes down.
MarineLorD, though, I still think overall gets the benefit. However, the economy now is at the point where Louis does have a significant economic lead. Those pawns starting to run lower. He's continuing to try to kite back with the longbows. He needs reinforcements to get there fast. The longbows need to be in mass, and they aren't anymore. MarineLorD has 46 military out, siege out as well.
You're seeing the effect of the military schools in real time, because right as the food starts running out, he starts getting passive production of units, and that is so critical. That's why he needed the visitor point for all of those. You see all 4 of those churning out units, and more passive gold coming to him as well. He could keep trading in the 5th relic. I mean, the food's going to be gone, but at this point, how much food does he really need?
I mean, at this point, if you got the military schools pumping, not a big deal, but look at the income as far as food goes. He is at 1,600 food per minute compared to Louis, you know, up at 2,300, but that's English's specialty. He could actually idle production for a minute and be up to Imperial. Not suggesting he does that. That's just how much economy he has.
Springgold's really proving important here, as we expected. And, you know, throughout all this, the important thing for MarineLorD is that he maintained control of the sacred site through the entirety of that engagement. They are both still under control. That timer is down to 7 minutes and 20 seconds. Not a huge deal yet, but it only takes a hot blink and another second, and suddenly you're down to 2 minutes, 1 minute, and the game could be over. I mean, that creeps up on you.
And look at the transition MarineLorD's actually doing. He sees how many men-at-arms Louis has been making, and he's like, all right, I'll make men-at-arms of my own, and I will support it with some crossbows, but Louis doing the same. So both of these players kind of making a swap into men-at-arms crossbows. And let's see if MarineLorD is a step ahead still, able to do that with the extra economy he has, with the extra gold. He has 19 traders. Actually, he's continuing to pump that trader number up.
Yeah, that's kind of the edge right now. And the fact that he has that and all 5 relics, and we can't discount, he's got the sacred site. We'll talk about as far as a win condition. They still give passive gold too. So he's getting a ton of gold, but also English and farms. So
the keep is being dropped, though. It's double, triple down on this sacred site. Louis trying to neutralize it, at least for the time being, but there's double Springgold placed outposts here. MarineLorD, it looks like he wants to take this fight soon. He has the number still. He has the siege still. Does Louis have enough to hold? I feel like this is one of those that sometimes you want to wait until there's 2-3 minutes left, but MarineLorD, he's going up to Imperial Age behind this.
I was just going to mention, like, this comes to a game of who blinks and decides to jump up to Imperial Age, who can get away with getting up to Imperial Age. It's such a gamble, right? So many resources. If you can get it and hold for a minute, then you're going to be all the better, but if you mistime it, it could be crucial. Right now, MarineLorD's betting he can make it work, as in comes Louis, trying to get on the sacred site. Mangonels on both sides exchanging shots. Springgold's having to back up from the archers. Longbows getting a couple up there. Meanwhile, the keep's still not quite complete yet.
Oh, great couple mangonel shots there from loueMT. You can see he's focusing all of those longbows onto the crossbows on the other side, onto the range mass on the other side, and letting the men-at-arms do the job. But it doesn't seem to be enough, especially with the static defense support that MarineLorD has.
Sipahi are taking some pretty tough fights there against the Spears and Men-at-Arms, but they're holding. The production for MarineLorD is just incredible right now. He's really got a lot of units. And now exposed are the Mangonels. That's going to be so much value lost as onto the Sipahi, running onto them. 1 go down, 2 go down, and all 3 are going to pop. And a 4th is walking right to its doom.
Yeah, and I mean,
he doesn't see it.
He doesn't. I don't even think he needs it. Just take the step back, continue to hold the sacred sites. Now get some upgrades, get some Imperial units out onto the field, and that's exactly what he is doing. A Berkshire attempt.
Oh, that would have been.
How close?
Oh!
This is going to get seen. MarineLorD's just going to go all in. Look at the army differences. He's just going to react to this and should just be able to deny this Berkshire.
This is a gutsy decision by Louis. If he gets it up, though, oh man, the Sipahi seeing some vills. Late pull here from Louis. He's going to lose a lot of villagers on this.
Yeah, even bigger problems at home. there is at least a gate in that wall, so gets most of those villagers out. But that second and third gold vein hasn't been secured yet. There's a great bombard already there. This is one where if he just moves his army on over, all the supply we just saw over to this mid-map, this Berkshire, by the time it's up, it's going to be down.
Yeah, this might be game right here. I was wondering if this game would go to Imperial Age. We haven't seen a lot of Imperial Age games today. And my thought was, who really wins out of this? Like, because if Ottomans get a leg up into Imperial Age, that bombard does a lot of damage. But the Berkshire, with its incredible range,
it is least up for the time being. Villagers trying to burn down a fortified outpost. This is such a feels bad. Look at how little damage that it's doing to the outpost. And slowly just villagers fall, another villager falls, another villager falls. And this outpost will provide a ton of damage. But Louis' main goal right now is to delay the sacred site from winning MarineLorD the game.
Unfortunately, the Berkshire is really good at destroying units around the sacred sites. What it doesn't do is decap the sacred site. It's down to 4.5 minutes now.
Yeah, buildings, though, it surprisingly does quite well with the fire arrows. So you already see that first initial out. Wow, actually, I lied.
Screen away.
I lied. It's the fortified outpost. They don't take fire damage as much. So
it's hard to light a rock on fire.
Not really being as effective there as what you can see. And Louis really needs to actually start winning some fights here soon. And fighting spears in this fight sound good, but I don't think those are Imperial Age spears right now.
No, they're not, and Sipahi have been upgraded indeed, and the numbers are just there for them. And, you know, MarineLorD can just keep pumping these, and they've gotten the big upgrades. You know, they are fully Imperial late game Sipahi. These guys are monsters, and there are a lot of dangerous opportunities for some vills to get killed here.
Yeah, biology is in. Those things are so tanky. He's continued to delay Louis on the gold. Meanwhile, he has more than enough gold. We saw how many traders he had. We talked about the 5 relics. We talked about double sacred sites. This game is fully in MarineLorD's control. It is his game to lose, and let's see if Louis can try to do something to stabilize, try to do something to get his feet back under himself.
We've got about 3 minutes and 13 seconds for the sacred site timer. Getting close to crunch time here. Louis' farms, you can see, fully up and going. Enclosures, you can see by the look of the farms going, but he just knows the sacred timer, there's no way he can do it, and that is going to be game number 3. Going to MarineLorD, now it's a 2-1 series.
Yeah, he was doubling, tripling, quadrupling down into spears. At the end, it was 67 spears, but what are you going to do with those against the whole mass that MarineLorD had? There was going to be a non-stop stream of units across, and there were already so many static defenses laid out, not just on the sacred sites, but throughout the water, throughout the gold, and kind of all across the map.
You know, it's always amazing to me when you see these high-level players playing these games, and in the end, it turns into a classic 1999 Age of Empires. You build your mass for 10 minutes, I'll build my mass for 10 minutes, and we'll just mash them together and see who wins. Yeah, that's kind of what happened.
We didn't see the first engagement. I think I said 13 minutes on in.
Took a while.
It is now a 2-1 lead for MarineLorD. I see him walking over. He's needing to get a water, needing to refresh himself. This series, you know, it might be extended a little bit. You know, Louis, he took game number 1, but 2 swift wins there
I'm looking
from
at the number.
MarineLorD.
Someone has donated to the Matcherino and added to our, well, we are that much closer to getting to an S-tier event. Whoever that was, thank you very much.
Yeah, and it could have been more than just one. You never know.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe
That's
some
true.
more supporters out there than just one.
Getting a live look here. This is understating how many people are actually here. I've been impressed by the turnout today. We've had a good couple dozen people show up for this. We were looking at kind of just the front row there. Shout out to the guys sitting up there getting the
Well, I
backs of
mentioned
their
I
heads
was
there.
munching on some Mexican food. There was a big group at the tables on the back side that aren't in the camera. So lots of support here, lots of support there in the chat as well. We appreciate all of you viewers out there.
There's Caleb. There's Caleb Calmari. Hello.
Yeah, big shout out there. And obviously, again, thanks to our sponsors, the World Edge. We could not be putting on this event without them. We could not have, you know, some of these players, some of the overall bigger picture stuff. There's so many upgrades we've been able to make compared to last year. It's so awesome out here.
Yeah, this has been, I mean, day 1 and almost in the books here. It's been a great event already. And I'm just excited for when. This is only Friday. I mean, the weekend hasn't really even began. I mean, we're just getting into it. We got so many games tomorrow. I expect tomorrow to be a very full day of games. A lot of series are going to go the distance in that one, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we had quite the full day today, but it is one where usually that first day, there aren't as many close games because, it's the 1 versus the 8 seed kind of thing.
Like a lot of 3-0s, 3-1s, but now we might get some more 3-2s coming up here.
Yeah, we're starting to get into some action, to get into some close games, maybe some potential upsets coming up down the road here soon.
What has been your favorite part about Denver so far? Oh yeah. I was thinking that behind this camera right now, what we're looking at, we've had a very special person casting in French to probably a very large audience, actually.
And not only has he been casting, he's been solo casting the whole day. Meanwhile, we've been getting breaks. I got to watch. I was
eating
doing
our
some
Mexican food.
I was doing some interviews earlier, which 5 minutes each, 10 minutes each. Nice and chill. He has been in front of that computer screen for every single series. And also, I believe Lash has been doing a German cast as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, we've been getting a lot of different viewership, a lot of different options. That means the more viewers, the better. We want this support out there. We want to be able to continue on great events like this.
Oh, yeah, and this has just been an absolute blast. I was going to ask you, what's your favorite part about these kind of events for you?
Honestly, it's always so fun getting to interact with the players. You talk to them in voice chat occasionally. Sometimes you get to hear their strategies when they're talking about it on stream, but it's so different when you're sitting there right next to them or hearing 3 of them converse when they're circled around the computer, talking Civ matchups, Civ preparation, things like that. So it's really kind of cool, digging into someone's brain in person.
Yeah, it's so fun to see, and to meet everyone else, all the fans who watch, and there's when you get in this community for a while, you start recognizing a lot of the names in a Twitch chat, and you get all the Discord servers. You start recognizing a lot of names, and I always think it's really funny how we all kind of go by our game tags everywhere. It kind of gets to this hodgepodge where you introduce yourself by your real name, and everyone's like, oh, okay. And then you still get called Soccerton everywhere or Dabston.
I laughed. I saw all the players who've been playing today. Cal's done a great job, been able to give their full names up there, and there's a few. I'm like, wait, that's
their name?
I'm
Really?
I had
I didn't
no
know
idea.
that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny. I've had a couple live events where we've gone. I go to a Ren Fair every year with the AOE 4 squad, and we'll be calling each other real names, calling each other usernames and screen names, and we always just crack up about it. It's so what should I actually call you?
From an outside perspective, it's got to be really wacky, right? Look outside looking in, going, man, what are they making?
Yeah, what did they just
reminds
call
me of like Avengers, when Spider-Man's oh, so we're using our made-up names now? I'm Spider-Man. I'm Soccerton. Hi.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I did see MarineLorD go back on the stage, so we should be seeing this game number 4 Civs getting picked up here soon. I believe map. Oh, okay.
Looks like we're on Pigeon View. Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm seeing?
I believe Pigeon View, and it's Mali versus
French.
Okay.
This feels like I don't say this about every matchup. This feels like a classic matchup.
Donzo's
into French Knights just feels like a classic.
The problem is I do feel like Mali has the leg up here.
I feel like Malians is a really good Civ. I mean, it's one of those Civs. It doesn't get banned every game. The banned ones are always, China. We've seen it all day. China and House Lancaster. It always sneaks in. There's always someone who has Malians, and I feel like they perform really, really well.
They definitely do. I mean, they're one of those weirder Civs where they obviously have the Cal boom, but all of their overall just Civ bigger picture all just works so well together. You can kind of be somewhat one-dimensional, very defensive, and I feel like French, it's hard to go up against that. Spears counter Knights, but Donzos get a little bit of an extra damage inconsistently.
They do it from range.
Mm-hmm.
And both these Civs are interesting because they do the same thing every time. Some Civs you have multiple builds. Maybe you go for this, maybe you go for that. With Malians, you're going to go for a cow boom.
Yeah.
When's the last time you've seen a Farimba?
Genuine
Farimba.
EGC.
Oh, wait, was there one? I mean, there might be a fringe Farimba.
It was a Farimba.
Somewhere in there.
What was it? It was Altai, and it was Farimba versus 3TC, and the 3TC went full spears and held. So I don't think the Farimba's still a good idea.
You had me at Altai there. So I mean, all bets are off in Altai. But they almost always, I feel like the meta, I would say, is cow boom, right?
Yeah.
But then for French, the meta is obviously going, the Chamber of Commerce. No, it's Knights. You're going Knights in Feudal Age, right? That's the play.
It's usually Knight Archer.
Knight Archer.
Guess what? When the javelins come out, obviously they counter the archers, but if the Knights get in range, there's that higher base damage from those javelin throwers. So
that's what I always say about them. I always say the high. You stole my line.
Right.
I always mention that because javelin throwers are again. I think as far as general units, I put them almost an S tier every time. I think that's one of the best units in the game for what they can do.
Yeah, and so that's really one where MarineLorD gets to play his own game, and it feels like it's on Louis to make that attack. But where I think French can do the best is when that Castle Age comes out. There's such that timing for that really, really quick dive right when Castle Age goes. And that's where I feel like it's always the best timing to just go for the throat and finish the game. So let's see if that's what Louis is going to try to do here. Let's see if he can do any early potential pressure. Yeah, getting 1 or 2 vills is nice. I have seen Barracks come out early, which sounds weird, but I have seen Barracks come out early for that early Spearman to try to deny those early houses, deny that early pit mine. But let's see if that is what Louis has planned. Game number 4, all of the nerves on the line here. Is that a Spearman coming across the map?
Something. I see something with a health bar. It might be a scout. It's a scout.
It's a scout. It's moving a little bit quicker there. But that is one where, you know, nerves are on the line. MarineLorD's up 2-1. Louis did get that first win, so this has not been an easy series for him by any means.
No, not at all. And the onus is on him to do damage, right? Like, he's got to get damage and slow down that cow boom. I think how he goes about it, I think I'm going to rescind my comment from a little earlier. I said that it's kind of one-dimensional. French has a couple options, though. Like, you could go for, like, a pro scout play. You could. There's a couple different things you could do. I don't know if that's going to be super effective, per se. Because I feel like when you go pro scouts into Malians, it feels really good, really good, really good until suddenly it doesn't. And it's when the deer run out and suddenly your opponent gets to Castle Age and the cow boom's online. Like, once the cow boom is online, you got to have an answer.
That's where I think you have to go. You don't go immediate pro scouts. If you do pro scouts, you go one night into pro scouts, back into the full production to then give yourself, you know, that eco bonus. You also don't overmake scouts. I've seen some players do that. We're like, oh, I'm going to get 6 and I'm just going to like,
too many.
It's way too many, way too much of an investment. 4, I kind of feel like is that right number, and it boosts your economy so much. But it also is one that I feel like pro scouts isn't even necessarily needed against Mali because they're so defensive. They're not going to be that initial raiding party early on. Once their food gets online, that's when they start making some sofa, though.
I mean, they could go warrior scouts, though. So there you do run a risk of sending your vills out there to the wind and having some warrior scouts come up. Especially, you might think that you might be safe on this map with all the stealth forest, but there's quite a bit of when you have scouts, they can see through. So.
Yeah, and a good little bit of a cutoff there from the scout by loueMT. I believe he got vision of where MarineLorD scout was and just cut right across the map. A decent little sheep pickup for himself. You can already see actually 2 more coming in there for, I believe that was MarineLorD. Still about a 4 or 5 sheep lead. And the French are a civ that love having extra sheep at their disposal.
Yeah, having even just a couple. I mean, that's you know, close to 1,000 food right there. If you get like 4 or 5 extra sheep, that's a pretty big swing. And for French, you need all the time you can get. You want to delay any transition on food as long as you possibly can. Although
only 2 vills on the,
it might be 2 on the age up there.
No, that means it's more of an economic focus here from loueMT. It might just be that quick, immediate pro scouts play coming out from him. Back gold for MarineLorD, who's surprised with a little bit of MarineLorD spawn action.
He's on stone there.
It's a 2TC.
It's a 2TC play.
Yeah.
You know, I've theorized about this with Zushi. The matchup with Zushi is very similar, I feel like, in some ways, where they often go pro scouts against Malians and then eventually lose. And the thought I've had is maybe a 2TC play could work, but then you're kind of on the back foot trying to defend that. We'll see what Louis wants to do with this, though.
Yeah, I mean, the key is here, though, that, you know, sometimes you feel like you need to try to match the cow boom with some sort of extra eco for yourself. It feels like when you, even if you get villager picks, it is really like that all-in nature where you go in. It's either you have a successful all-in or, okay, go ahead and send it to the next game. And Louis doesn't want that. He wants more control. He wants more of a longer game potential here.
Well, and that's maybe to his advantage. I mean, you're on a game point. If you lose this game, you're in the loser's bracket, you know? You need to make this go to the distance. You want to win this one and then go to force the game 5. So maybe he's playing for the longer game, thinking he can maybe outlast, maybe drag it on, give himself more opportunities to win. So I could see your point there for sure.
Yeah, but this does allow MarineLorD to potentially be greedier with his economy early on. You can already see wheelbarrow, you can already see double broadaxe, and he actually goes for a stable. So maybe it's not necessarily greedy early on. He says, all right, I'm going to actually pull out some aggression early on and still, you know, make some cows behind this, get that economy rolling up for himself.
I think that's a difficult thing to deal with as Malians, right? Like, when you're going against Malians, they can get aggressive, and that cow boom can just wait and do the cow boom later, and then as long as they don't push it off too long, they will still get dividends. And as soon as it gets online again, they're super duper far ahead as we see TC being placed by Louis right on the deer pack.
Yeah, the big scary part about dropping TCs is they don't give vision of the stealth forest. So once he finishes that up, it sometimes is one where you actually need an outpost in that stealth forest. But I'm not sure if MarineLorD has any idea of this 2TC play yet. So he's not actually reacting with that stables because he saw the 2TC. He just was planning on that build initially. I think he's actually expecting the pro scouts play, and that's where he got, I believe, the warrior scout upgrade himself.
Yeah, in fact, he hasn't even looked at the stone for Louis yet. I don't even think he knows it's on the far side. He hasn't even looked at it. Tower coming up here in response to the warrior scouts.
Few torches.
Ooh,
You gotta watch out for those torches early. But scout v scout, at least early on, is somewhat okay. Even though those are warrior scouts, you can always kind of do exactly what we're seeing here. Pull back, wait for a little bit of healing. The key is no villager losses here. Louis, great micro, just going to be pulling back the lower health villagers consistently. I wouldn't be surprised too to see him actually send that lower one home and just replace it on up. But he actually,
oh my goodness! With an inch of its life, he walks back and the body block.
My gosh, body
Wow.
block to perfection there. Pathing, we all know it's a annoyance in AoE 4, and it's not only the outpost that gets up. While he was getting full focused on the front side, he's dropping a wall on the back side, and all during this time, look at how many cows MarineLorD has.
None.
Exactly.
I was going to mention before that whole little skirmish that, man, I was really impressed with just the micro of the back and forth with the scouts before he intentionally body blocked to save the Vil. All of that was intentional. Lest anyone think, like, I can accidentally do that every now and then. Louis did that on purpose, like, to a T.
Donzo is about to find out about this secondary TC. The problem here, Louis might be able to at least just pick up this Donzo too, jump on inside that TC if he wants, and there it is. Donzo's going to fall, but MarineLorD has the knowledge, and it might be one of these. It's like, obviously cameras are a little bit ahead of time, so wanted to see maybe the reaction. Sometimes you'll see their facial expression go, oh, kind of that, I call it the esports head shake. A lot of people call it the esports head shake, where they react in that negative way. They know they're kind of in a bad problem.
That got me. Yeah. And that TC didn't actually get that Donzo, by the way. It walked away with an inch of its life. Not that it really, I don't know if one Donzo is going to make a difference, but it is alive with 4 HP.
Okay.
One arrow away.
You never know. And MarineLorD actually doing a great job of kind of pulling it back, letting the other unit step up first to tank the tower. Arrow slits, though, being invested into. I wouldn't even be surprised to see Louis try to get a second outpost at this location, because gold is such an importance here for where he is at for the French.
I say it every time I see these. I love the addition of these POIs for the towers. I think that's one of the best additions to the game as far as interesting, unique things to go for, especially on this map.
Yeah, and they've continued to kind of, add all these different, map variations where, you have the excavation sites and whatnot. But Louis has now knights roaming the map. And this kind of gets scary, especially considering he's got a scout sitting, watching, waiting on the gold on the deer as well. But, MarineLorD's a step ahead. He's got 2 Donzos sitting on over there too, but we know the micro. We know how these players are going to react and act here.
Behind this, we've got the first cow pens coming up. 4, and there's the 5th cow coming out now. So 5 cows of 20, and this has been your cow report. Checking back in.
Cal's getting a little happy over there when you said that.
And again, this is like the brilliance of Malians, right? Like, they can kind of go toe-to-toe with French just on their own. But behind this, just little by little, it's the perfect snowball of passive resources.
And Louis actually had a knight go all the way to the edge of the map, going full circle to try to make sure he did not get into the vision of MarineLorD, and this is where we were seeing it start to get closer to where his scout's at now. There's no vision, there's no information. This is usually a free pick onto the gold, especially with Stealth Forest that near. That should be an easy villager kill here.
There's no way he sees us coming.
Yeah.
Boom, and
oh,
he missed it.
Split focus.
Gets him anyways.
Still gets it, and it has a little bit of extra damage on the other one. Donzo throw comes in, but hey, one villager's one villager. It slowly adds up, especially when you're the one with 2 TCs, you're the one getting to be the aggressor somehow.
Yeah, you take a small boo-boo for a villager any day. The chivalry will cover that right up.
Yeah, and he will sure enough get chivalry down the line, but for now, it's getting this mass on together, and there's actually already the archer number he needs to start one-shotting those Donzos.
Yeah, it's going to be a big point. Once you get that critical mass, suddenly it just becomes so hard to deal with. again, the ace up the sleeve for MarineLorD is the cow boom, and these cows are coming out very steadily. He is very heavy onto gold. This is his focus right now. You can already see where he's planning to put his landmark as he ages up eventually. And he's got a little ways to go before he gets to that point, but you can see, yeah, right there's where it's going to go. But now up to 11 cattle. I mean, it was only been like a half minute, and he went from 5 to 11.
Yeah, that was his reaction to 2TC. He knows he needs some eco bonus of his own. What? No survival techniques for Louis after gathering up a full deer pack already? He's on to the second. I mean, I wonder if he even gets it here at this point, but even still, he has been able to take this game's early aggression, kind of, maybe get MarineLorD on the back foot on over here. Archer number moving up, but the Sofa number starting to climb up, starting to get scary here for Louis.
I mean, you said the Sofa, but the Donzo number is pretty scary too as well. I mean, these Knights don't have a lot of time to work with, and this is where this combination from Mali is so good. The Sofa aren't as good as, Royal Knights are in Feudal Age, but if they can just kind of force the issue with those Archers.
Yeah, and you can see every single time Louis thinks he gets enough space away from those Sofa, he goes back in with the Knights. But the key here for French is not the Archers. It is always keeping the Knights as alive, as healthy as you possibly can. So sacrifice quite a few Archers, but kept his Knight mass healthy.
Our cow report now tells us we are at 16 cattle of 20. And once that happens, then it's all full steam ahead towards Castle Age.
Yeah, and the big problem for French is there's always going to be this point where they need to make a food transition. We've seen him on the early 2 packs of deer. He hasn't yet been gathering up the berries yet, I don't believe, but sometimes you might want to start dropping a few farms early. Yeah, you don't have any English bonuses there, but if you all of a sudden run out of food at the wrong point, it is all but over.
I've often speculated that maybe you should go for boar a little bit earlier if you're playing into this matchup, before the Sofa get out in mass. Take the boar and then go do pro scouts on the deer. That way you can get the outside resources of food. That's like 4,000 food that's up for your grabs, and then come home and get the deer later. Because now, going for the boar at this point would be rather dangerous with all these Sofa out and about.
Yeah, and all of a sudden that Sofa number is up at 12, 3 more in queue, still pumping that Donzo number nice and healthy. Feels like, French is doing French things where they're trying to find damage with their Knights, but it's so hard against a Mali economy that is so condensed.
Up to 18 cows. It's looking pretty rough there as far as eco lead goes for Louis. He needs to find an edge. And now he does have a sizable villager lead due to the Civ, but it's not going to be enough to keep up with the cows. I mean, the resources, you can see the total resources a minute, very neck and neck, and it's going to just keep going in favor. As a Warrior Scout gets a villager there, MarineLorD doing some good damage.
Doing damage, keeping up this production while he is aging up. That is the power of the cow boom. That is the power of just this Mali economy, even though it was a little bit of a delayed cow boom.
Well, after all this, look at the villager kills. It's 1-to-1. No damage really done. The 2TC obviously has been helping out a lot, but Louis is only 71 to 44. I don't feel like he's really gotten that full payoff yet, and the cow boom has just kind of kept MarineLorD in this. And it's going to just continue to propel him.
27 villagers is nothing to slouch about. It is to the point where MarineLorD, the cows aren't sustaining him enough. He's been moving out to the deer. He's moving out to other resources as well. And I think Louis feels something's up as MarineLorD now has to pull him back. But Mali upgrades come through so fast. It's immediate, both veterancies, imported armor as well, and the ranged armor to deal with that archer mass that we're seeing.
Those Sofas with imported armor are absolute monsters. I feel like Sofas in Feudal Age are a little bit underwhelming, but with imported armor and castle, become a whole new beast.
Yeah, that's where we have seen some buffs to Sofa in the recent patches, but also you just mentioned it. It allows that transition to castle to be so much more effective. Sofa deciding to take the fight now that the imported armor upgrade came through. Louis again is stuck in between a rock and a hard place, doesn't want to take the fight, doesn't want to take the dive with his Knights, having to run on away, but the archer number is thinning out so fast. Donzo's still somewhat healthy, needs to make sure to continue to snipe those out. Only 10 left. He has to take this fight. He's forced to take this fight. Is it enough of a timing for him? Continuing great micro here, making sure less and less Donzos are here, but Sofa strong enough to continue to push away, at least for now.
Those Knights are starting to get really low on health, but so are some of the Sofa, but the numbers seem to be in favor of I'm like having a hard time saying. It looks like MarineLorD will pay back, move back a bit. I say the Knights are just tanky enough to kind of hold. The numbers were holding just well enough. That was really close.
Yeah, really great micro there by Louis. That's one of those that you have to make sure the archers are not wasting shots on imported armor sofa. You need to continue to hit Donzos, and it's so hard in those fights where there's so many units grouped together.
And a stealth force, nonetheless. You know, like it just make things even more difficult with the trees in the way.
And look at that resources per minute graph. Right when Castle Age finished on up, MarineLorD all of a sudden, it's just a skyrocket line up. There was a point where Louis was ahead, and Louis starting to run out of the deer, starting to run out of those stronger resources. This is the point where MarineLorD can start splitting off Sofa. We've seen raids after raids after raids in these other games. Let's see if he kind of does what Puppy Paw has been all over the place doing, which is, you know, trying to split 1 to 2 units in different spots. Oh, and it's not just 1 to 2. That's a decent-sized Sofa mass hitting those villagers on the berries. They try to jump in the outpost. No upgrades there. Even if there was an upgrade, an Aeroslit's upgrade, those Sofa, they're just laughing. Toothpicks hitting them over there.
Yeah, the question is, can he get those Knights there in time to save them? Quick little pull and repair, trying to keep it up. Villagers looking like they're scrambling, not sure what to do there. Another one falls due to the inconsistency of movement. And here come the Knights to save maybe the last 1 or 2.
And not even
or maybe
able
not.
to save any. Knights arrive, and MarineLorD's just going to go, all right, I'm out of here.
Now they can't even avenge the fallen villagers. All they can do is chase.
Guildhall, though, has finished. Castle Age stabilized there, immediately able to get a bunch of upgrades. Veterancy on both of his unit masses that he has been doing. But we talked about it.
Oh,
He's
man,
having
so
to
many
move out
bills.
on other resources. His food economy is about to take a nosedive here, and he needs that food economy to continue to produce knights.
This feels like a castle into GG, where you age up and then you have no resources to spend once you're up in a castle age.
I mean, and it's one that we knew food was going to be a problem. Sofa just continuing to run away from those knights. The other Sofa mass diving onto the archer ball, but the upgrade has come through for those knights. So we'll be able to take the fight well against the Sofa, but the Sofa don't care. They're taking out as many archers. They're causing as much idle time as possible, trying to make sure the economy of loueMT is running ragged and not able to work.
This game is looking very quickly like it's going to come to a conclusion along with the series. Those Sofas are causing so much damage, and even the Donzos just finding more exposed villagers, just easy pickings.
Yeah, gonna try to run on back pathing, circling on around. There are a good amount of archers here, so correct counter unit. The Donzo just getting thrown away at this point, but Louis, he is still up 32 villagers.
That's amazing.
He will need to make a farm transition soon, but look at the economy, the resources per minute. It doesn't feel like he's up 30 villagers because of the resources per minute. The cow boom is so effective.
Yeah, I've seen this kind of game played out so many times where like, once you get 20 of 20 cattle, and then you do even just 10 villagers worth of damage, even if they are on 2 TCs, it just feels like what can they do? And we're looking at it here. Lots of fights, Wolos happening. The Royal Knights just trying to contain these Sofa, but they are just relentless.
And Musafati Warrior starting to be produced for MarineLorD as well. So, you know, obviously can be a little bit of stealthy boys, be annoying. Farm transition even happening for MarineLorD. Not loueMT, it's MarineLorD making a farm transition here now. Another fight going on. Archers are surrounded currently by the Sofa, not kiting back by loueMT. This is not the greatest fight for him. The numbers for MarineLorD are just purely in his favor, even with the value of those Royal Knights. Is this going to be enough to hold? I don't think so. MarineLorD is taking an exceptional fight and might just close out this game. Might just close out this series.
And there it is. 3-1 goes to MarineLorD in a very, I would say, traditional song of dance of Malians in French. I mean, he did what Malians do best, and that's my question is, how do you beat that if you're French? I mean, what do you do?
It does feel like a matchup already that is definitely in Mali's favor. Louis, he surprised him with the 2 TC play. MarineLorD wasn't able to react until later on.
And it wasn't enough.
But it's crazy when you see that economy graph, that resource graph. You're like, he's up 35 villagers. Surely it'll be fine. Well, all of a sudden, 35 villagers are running across the map. They're not able to gather. They're not actually doing anything for you.
I think the key is you have to do damage to the Malians there. You have to hit the villagers. You have to do things as they're trying to get the cow transition up. You got to hit them hard. And the tricky thing is you're trying to get your own economy online with your own, second TC. You're trying to boom there. You don't have a ton of time to produce that many knights to go and do damage. And in the end, it was like one villager. but with the cow boom, like it's just all things being equal, the cow boom's just better.
I feel like against Mali, it's not always the villagers you're going for. A lot of times it's the infrastructure. It's the
Yeah.
pit mines. It's the houses around the pit mines. It's if you can deny production buildings, that is the crucial thing to actually delay the Mali. But you can actually see the good old economy count graph right there, where yes, the numbers are purely in Louis' favor. The economy counts in his favor, but we saw the resources consistently over on MarineLorD's side. Has more food, I guess it's dead even on the wood basically, but has more gold, even though he was down so many villagers.
Yeah, I mean, look at those two lines. Like, you see the dotted line where the cow boom kind of gets added in there. Really close. It may be a slight edge, but the problem is the units, you just weren't doing damage. You weren't being active enough. You were being a little too passive as French. And it's hard not to because you're just trying to keep up with the economy. So the question is, what do you do?
Well, Puppy Paw got his wish. MarineLorD gets the dub. They will be playing on Sunday. Now I'm going to step on off, let you interview the winner over here. Big congrats to MarineLorD.
Hey,
Congratulations on a hard-fought series. That was
Yeah,
pretty
thanks.
fun. Some fun games in there.
yeah, it was very hard, and it was very draft could go either way, and I think the fact that I got Malians French here was very important, because if I get Rus, then the last matchup is a 50-50
Mm.
at best. So yeah, I was very happy about getting this matchup, but it was very close. I was very confident about my water maps, and I won them. And game one, I was very confident too, but I think what I did was very smart, and it was pretty much a blind counter to what I was doing. So yeah, it was very hard.
Yeah. Looking at the Malian game and the French game, if you're French, what do you think is the recourse there? Because I feel like the Malian cow boom is just so good. What could Louis have even possibly done different to stop what you were doing?
I think you just go pro scout and you try your best to deal damage with knight and archer. Like, it's not impossible. I think it's maybe like 40-60. But when Malians win, it looks very dominant and very easy. But I think French, like, if you find one or two good run bys, it can win. And I think there is opportunity for that. My first goal was very good, obviously. My first goal spawn. But
Yeah.
my second and my third were not too good. So I think if you pro scout and then attacks, you can probably abuse that a little bit. Yeah, I was not expecting 2TC at all.
Yeah, that was.
realized
It
people
took a while
liked-
for you to see that. What was your
Yeah.
initial reaction when you saw it?
I was super confused. Like, yeah, 2TC is not supposed to be very good, right, in the current meta. But yeah, I wasn't too sure, like, honestly. Like, it's been such a long time since I've played against it. But from what I remember, it was just like play normal, Koboom.
And it worked.
Clicks.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
cow boom looks really good next to 2TC. I mean, you kind of proved. You think you
Yeah.
proved the reason why the meta is the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, 2TC is good if you can defend everywhere, but it's pretty much impossible to do. You have to make so many walls and play so perfectly. If you really play perfectly, maybe it's fine, but if you just make one mistake, you die instantly. So it's super hard to play, I think.
How are you feeling on the first game with the Ayyubids tearing down your water?
Game 2, yeah.
What was your response to that? You had those 3 spears. What do you think was the key to winning that game after you lost water there?
Yeah, I think my plan was to actually win water, so it was pretty bad. But at the same time, if you commit that hard to win water and then your wood line is not safe on this map, it's pretty hard. I mean, what I did was fine, right, in a follow-up. But normally I wanted to go dock and spears instantly. But since I'm a greedy bitch, I went like for one fishing ship, and then I'm too late.
Yeah, he like really committed to water
Yeah.
after that, and you didn't have a whole lot there. And so the fact that that wall was open too, you got those horsemen through that wall between the gold and the wood line.
That was good.
That just seemed to really open the doors for you to just wreak havoc.
Yeah, I mean, I was 100% sure he didn't have any other unit in production because he was very short on anything. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna block with my scout because archer don't deal damage to it, or not much. And 3 spears can actually kill an archer too, so I tried dealing some damage. And then yeah, it was just pretty much won from this point, I guess. I don't think he had a lot of fishing ship.
No, not really.
Yeah.
He didn't have the wood for it. You
Yeah.
were shutting that down really
Yeah,
well.
it makes sense. Yeah, but yeah, my start was pretty bad. I shouldn't have made one fishing ship. I should just have made
When we were
fish.
watching that spear almost get the village, that came
Yeah.
down to a mill. I mean, you were just a millisecond slow, a little bit faster than you would have had it, and then that whole thing
Yeah,
would have
yeah.
crumbled.
That's why like it's slightly risky to play it the way I did. If I don't take the risks, then it's super easy, and it's not like you can do much. Like I can go for spears and fishing boats, and even if he makes a few archer, if he can't mass them fast enough, he's gonna die. But since the plan is to go fast dock, he doesn't have enough resources to make a lot of archer, so it's kind of weird.
Okay, I like that. Looking ahead, so first of all, congratulations on the series. Tomorrow, you basically have the day off, right? So, well, first of all, what are you going to do for the day off? What's your plan? Just going to be playing games or hanging out? Or
Yeah, mostly hanging out. I want to watch some stuff. Like my friends on Valorant are playing for Ascension.
Okay.
It's when you go in tier 1, and I want to watch that. And yeah, we're gonna chill. I'm not sure what we're gonna do. I'm gonna watch the other play, obviously. It's gonna be fun.
Is this your first time coming to the States?
No, it's I'm not sure, like fourth or fifth time. I
Okay,
think.
you've been a couple times.
But I've been always to Los Angeles, which is very unique. I
Oh,
think.
very different from here, yeah.
I prefer this place. It looks more European, I think. I mean, it looks American, but like less Los Angeles, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a unique place. It's kind of. Have you felt any shortness of breath up here? The air's a little thin.
No. I'm in good condition, so I'm fine. But I don't know. It was a bit exhausting toward the end, like today. But yeah, we wake up pretty early. So
Yeah, how's the time change on you?
I sleep on this schedule pretty much. It
Okay.
doesn't change anything for me. So actually, like, yeah, they were mocking me, People and Wham and Magic. They were like, yeah, no, it's any time. We're gonna beat you up because it's in NA. But I have better sleep schedule for this event than them. So
That's funny. That's great. So looking ahead on Sunday, then, what are you most looking forward to your matchup there?
I mean, I didn't really watch too much the last best of 5 between Pepe and Rom, so I want to check the replay. But it felt like it was a crazy draft, and I mean, I don't know, they play very weird, and I play weird too in some ways, so I'm not sure it's gonna match. But I would say, like, if we just play average games, like average level from both of us, I think I am slightly better. But it can go either way, I think.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see. Well, best of luck to you, and congratulations
Thanks.
again, and we'll be excited to see you on Sunday.
Bye-bye.
And that's the end of our day, basically. We are pretty much wrapping up. This has been the first day of King of the Rockies 2025, live from Denver. I'm Socraton. We just heard from MarineLorD there. And in comes the man, the myth, the legend, the guy behind all of this, the mastermind, if you will, Draxos.
Socrates, when you call me a mastermind, I feel like I'm an evil villain.
You should lean into that. You should get a cat. You have a white cat. You got a dog, but you should
No,
get
I
like a
have
white
a cat.
cat and you just
Yeah.
start petting it, and
So this has been a great event so far. I'm very happy with everything, and I can't, like, a lot of people have asked me what my favorite part of the tournament so far has been, and honestly, I have to say it's been the community support. I know we have had a lot of people come out for the event to attend in person. We've had a lot of people participate as online viewers, and seeing the amount of support we've gotten with this event has been really just heartfelt for me. I can't emphasize how much it means to me.
I mean, there's so many more people here than there were last year too. I mean, there's a lot of people here.
And yeah, I think we are at double ticket sales as is, and we're certainly expecting more to come
Tomorrow
in.
on the actual weekend, yeah, when people
Yeah.
actually have days off.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are like flying in now.
Yeah.
And going to be here first thing in the morning, so I'm
It'll be
excited.
great. Next 2 days are going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and like I said, I just want to thank everybody for all of the support, from the players to my staff who have come out here on their own merit and on their own dollar to help with this event. And I can't put into words what that means to me. This event has been more than we expected, and I feel like after last year we did set a pretty high standard, and we are surpassing it at every step.
Yeah, a lot of work goes behind the scenes. A lot of things that people at home just can't see. The fun thing is if you come here, you get to see it. So you can see a lot more of what goes behind it. Even then, just being here, like, I mean, the amount of stress I know you've gone through to get this to happen is just astronomical. But so far, it's been so good.
Yeah, it has been, I know I sound like a broken record, but it has just been absolutely phenomenal seeing how well this event has gone off, and seeing, the product we put out, and seeing the quality of the games, and seeing so many top-tier players here has been just phenomenal.
I feel like I could do like the PBS thing. Like, today's broadcast has been brought to you by World's Edge and viewers like you. Thank you. But really though, the community. I'm gonna get you to laugh on stream one of these days. It's been fabulous. And we can see the number up there, 265 just today. Hopefully that gets to keep growing. We can see we got today's matches. Oh cow, man! With all the stuff, today's matches and then stuff, and the brackets are coming up.
Those are tomorrow's.
Tomorrow's. Oh, it says today's. It says
Yeah,
today's down there.
don't-
Tomorrow's match. I know he's waving his hands. Okay. Tomorrow's matches we can see down there. We got the list and the lineup ready to go.
Yeah, so we are starting off tomorrow with Magic and Myriad, and then the next match after that will be MSN and Valdemar, and then the winner of those two matches will advance to play on against Wham and Louis respectively. So it is
Losers round day, which is a really harsh way to say it. Like the losers bracket, it needs to be like the second life. We gotta come up with a nicer term for
I
it.
always call it
the lower bracket. The lower bracket. That's it.
But
losers bracket feels kind of
I
harsh.
mean, it's hard to say. So it's hard to say that Wham and Louis are losers.
Yeah, I know,
at
right?
the end
That's
of
what
the
I'm
day,
saying.
like,
Like
they
even
are-
like Myriad and Magic, like they all play really well. And MSN, like they're all like playing at a pretty high level.
Yeah.
It's like losers feels like the wrong term. Lower bracket. I like that lower bracket. We should make that a thing.
Yeah, we'll see how long it takes Cal to change that.
He's probably working on it right now. I mean, he's The amount of work that goes behind this is just incredible. So, again, we thank everyone for viewing. We thank all the people who've been involved from start to finish. We will be back tomorrow. What time? Mountain Daylight Time?
9 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time.
9 a.m.
And
Mountain
we will
Daylight
actually
time.
start the stream on time, I
On
promise.
time next time.
I promise, guys. I really hope.
I'm knocking on wood there.
So,
Is there anything else? Is that it?
I think that's everything. Okay. So, I did have one question for you, Socrates.
Okay.
Since what has been your favorite experience of the day?
Ooh, my favorite experience of the day. I really enjoyed taking. It wasn't today. Can I do one from yesterday night?
Are you?
Or does it have to be today?
I know what this is. Go ahead.
We got to take out Askeladd, whose first trip to the States. He's German, as well as some of our friends from Canada who came in. I was going to say, my favorite thing for today, just real quick, is getting to meet everyone who knows me from the podcast and from other things, and who knows the players, and just getting to hang out with everyone I already know online. But we got to take everyone out to Texas Roadhouse yesterday, which is a very Americanized Texas steakhouse.
That is
full
an
on.
excellent
They bring out the saddle, the yeehaw. It's just so over the top, and it's pretty good food. It's okay. It's pretty good steak for the price you're paying. And you're making Askeladd eat that. You eat the sweet rolls we have. It's just so fun to like show off the silly parts of our Americanness here for some of the Europeans coming in. I just get tickled by it. So
No, that is a good thing to have as your favorite. I think that's a good pick.
I mean, when in Denver, right? We're in the Wild West out here. I should wear a cowboy hat tomorrow. I don't have one, so I'm gonna get you one of these days. I'm gonna get you
Someone
one of these
get me
days.
out of here, please.
Well,
no, we're stopping at cowboy hats.
We're stopping. I'm Socrates. This is Draxus. We will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time.